For the next 4 days, I'm gonna be exploring all over the island in search of new zones with perfect conditions and tons of life. I'm gonna take some deep drops in pursuit of some difficult fish using both my 3-prong pole spear and my roller spear gun. Enjoy, you guys. I started swimming out and I immediately saw this guy hiding in the reef. I dove down, and I'm not gonna lie, I did try to catch him with my hands, but he just dug himself so deep into that hole that there was no way. Once it got a little bit deeper, I went down for my first drop of the day. It is so beautiful down here. Just perfect conditions, beautiful clean blue water, and so many fish around these coral heads. I saw this papio and I tried to call him in. He was not interested, but I didn't care. I knew it was going to be a good day of diving. This reef garden is so beautiful. I had seen an invasive grouper dive under this coral head, so I dove down to investigate. I got in close, and he must have known I was coming to evict him, because he got out of there quick on his own volition. I tried to get him, but I just wasn't ready. I checked his hiding place, but he was long gone, so I decided to just kick it right up to the surface. I started heading up, but then I looked to my right and I saw 2 big omilu. I really wanted to get these guys, but I was still warming up and my breath hold just wasn't there. I felt something hit me from behind and my mind screamed shark. I looked up terrified, but it was just this little guy. He had ran right into me from behind. I guess he could sense that I was bummed about missing out on those omilu, and he didn't want me to be sad on my own. This is so cool. I've never had a turtle experience like this before. This guy just kept swimming around me, and he kept rubbing up against my fins and my spear. After he'd been hanging out right next to me for a long time, I decided it was time to do a little bit of a loyalty test, and so I started to dive down. Look how he dives down after me. This is one of the most beautiful things I've ever filmed. It's just such an incredible experience, and I'm honored this guy wanted to say hi. He even swam back up to the surface after me. I put out my hand for a fist bump, but he decided that he would rather fist bump my spear instead. Either way, a win's a win. After that incredible experience, I completely forgot about the omilu, and this knife jaw in front of me had my full attention. I started swimming right at him, trying to dive bomb him, and he almost gave me a broadside shot here, but I couldn't quite get close enough. After chasing him for a little bit longer, I realized this strategy wasn't going to work, so I just tucked in at the bottom, and he turned right around towards me. I lunged towards him, and I made the distance, got the shot off, and he froze. I could not believe how easy it was to land this guy. He was completely stoned, and as I got him up, I reached my hand around to secure him, and he ripped off. I had no idea he had that much fight in him. That was my first time ever hitting a knife jaw before, and I thought I had hit his spine or completely incapacitated him. So it was such a bummer when he was able to rip off and get free. I absolutely should have played that differently. I could have pinned him against the rocks, or if I knew he had that fight, I could have grabbed him more firmly and pressed him down against my spear. You know, it sucks because that was all my fault and I could have landed that fish. After scoping out this super awesome zone on my last dive, I went down for an even deeper drop and I settled in all the way at the bottom. Right away, this omilu came over and I started doing some grunts and trying to be as patient as I could. I loaded up my spear and I got it pointed in the right direction. He came back over, but he did not seem too interested, and as I watched him swim up over the shelf, I knew I was not going to get this guy. He disappeared into the light, and I started focusing my attention on the next fish. I look over, and I see this highly invasive blacktail snapper, so I smash him. As he's spinning around on my spear, you can see that Roy come over and start to check him out. This is another highly invasive fish, and he's super curious. I spot him right here, and I go to pull the snapper off of my spear, and I load up on this Roy. He starts shifting his attention towards that injured snapper, and that's when I smash him. It's a perfect stone shot. Morally, I think maybe I shouldn't have let go of that invasive snapper the way I did. I should have tried to hang on to him and give him a humane death, but it's good to take these invasives off the reef, and an injured fish is not going to last long in such a competitive environment. I was down there a super long time, and you can absolutely hear it. I took another dive, came up to the surface, and a boat almost ran me down. You can see the wake line right in front of me where those white-capped waves are. This boat came about 20 feet from me, and I had my float out. This was extremely scary, and I wish these captains knew how close they were. After that rattling experience, I dove down into this crazy structure and rattled this Roy. I tried to get in on this moo, but this dive bomb was never going to work, and it was just too scared. When I got back up to the surface, there was another boat, but this one kept a safe distance. It is extremely important, please guys, always swim with a float. I still wanted that fat moo, so I dove down, and this time I tried a different strategy. I sunk into a natural depression in the reef, and I remained as still and as calm as I could. Simultaneously, I scratched up the reef to produce an interesting sound, and it worked to bring that big moo in. He was just hanging out here just out of range, and I tried to be as patient as I could. I waited, and I waited, and I waited, but this guy was just too smart. So eventually, I made my move and started swimming towards him. As I swam, he swam away, and I just did not get close enough. I had no luck with that moo, but I can always count on smashing a Roy on my way back into shore. Now it's time for a nice, relaxing swim in.
In hell. Oh my God. My entire body is covered by this damn wetsuit except for my lips. So of course that's where I'm gonna get stung by a jellyfish. Okay, it's not so bad. It was really bad for a second there. It's all right. I'm scared to put my head back down in the water now.
All right, I'm finally back in onto some dry land. It really sucked to get stung in the face out there. I got it kind of right here on the lip, but it's starting to feel better already, so not a huge deal. Right now, my personal best Roy is 20 inches, and I'm only in 3rd place, so I'm not even gonna bother logging this into the app for the competition. I'm just gonna toss him back, a little bit of catch and release here. It was a new day of diving. The conditions on top of the water were absolutely beautiful, but underneath, this murk did not match.
Visibility is really terrible today. We can try going over across the bay to the other side and see how that is, and if it's not any better, we'll just head in.
Fortunately, on the other side of the bay, the conditions were a whole nother world. I loaded up my gun, and I was excited for my first drop. As I was breathing up, I looked down and I noticed something big swimming across the reef. I breathed up quickly and dove down to intercept it. It was a big alua meandering slowly across the shelf. I got in behind him here, and I'm just trying to line up for the perfect shot. He's super close to me, but he's just not giving me that broadside angle. All of a sudden, he turns broadside, and I'm just not quite ready. He starts to swim away, and I have to go up. And as I'm going up, he doubles around and just breaks my heart. I really wish I could have just stayed on the bottom there, and he would have come right back to me. But it was the first drop of the day, and my breath hold was absolutely not there. Just heartbreaking. I dove down again a couple times, but of course, I could not find him. On this dive, there was a lot of moo action right off the shelf, but these guys were just too small. I took a drop in a deeper zone here, and I hit the bottom at about 50 feet. I was feeling super comfortable, so I started patting the bottom, kicking up some sand, trying to get these moo interested. These moo weren't really feeling it, but these papillo came over to say hi. You can see I don't even turn my gun towards these guys. They're just so small. I really want to let these guys grow. As I swam down towards the bottom on my next dive, I looked to the left and I saw something strange. It was a big school of fish, but this was unlike any school I had ever seen before. These guys were long, skinny, and pretty big. I didn't know what they were, but I knew they were probably tasty, so I stuck my gun out and tried to line up for a shot. Unfortunately, these guys were so skinny, it was almost impossible to hit them. I had no idea what these guys were at the time, but when I got in, I looked it up. The English name for these guys are Heller's barracuda, but the Hawaiian name is Kawelea.
There was a big school of fish down here. It was like a bait ball, you know, but the fish were like this big. What are they? I don't know. I tried to shoot one, but they were so skinny I missed.
As I approached the bottom on my next dive, I looked to the left and I saw this uku skimming over the reef. I decided I was just going to settle in, be patient, and do some grunts, and hope that he comes back over. I do some grunts. I can tell that uku's not interested, but this moo presents a good shot. I shoot, and somehow I miss that. I have no idea how. As I hit the bottom at 60 feet, there's no way I'm even considering shooting these Roy with so many good fish around, and by the way they're acting, it seems like they know that. As I hit the bottom, I look up and I see that big school of moo. I decide to take my time because maybe that uku's still around. I scratch the reef. I don't see any uku action, so I decide to pick out the biggest moo from the group and target him. Once I find the biggest guy, I start slowly making my way across the reef and line up the shot.
Nice one, buddy. That thing's a monster.
Oh wow, look at that shot. It was a beautiful shot on a beautiful fish, and I was absolutely stoked. Alright, I got the kayak fully loaded. Conditions look absolutely beautiful out here. And then I got the big old ice bag on the back. So I'm planning on staying out here for a couple hours, stocking up on a ton of fish, and then cruising back in. My dad's wedding's coming up, so I really need to catch a lot. It's kind of do or die right now. I've been paddling for about 10 minutes. Just a really nice, slow, relaxed paddle. It's really important not to push yourself when you're paddling out because you want to, kind of save that oxygen and energy for your dives. Otherwise, you're going to get worn out a lot faster. I went down for my first dive and I was really struggling. My sinuses were all clogged up and the pressure was causing me immense pain, so much so that I had to turn around before I even hit the bottom.
Really not a good sign if you can't hit the bottom on your 30-foot warm-up. I'm a little bit congested, but hopefully I can kind of just work through it.
I was diving on the other side of the island today, and this was my first time ever seeing these black triggerfish, and my first time ever seeing these opelu kala. After a lot of failure, I eventually had a dive where I made it to the bottom, and I started eyeing up this papio, but he was just too small. Despite how difficult and painful it has been for me to get down to the bottom, I'm still really enjoying my dive today because look how beautiful these conditions are. It's really refreshing to dive a healthy reef for once. You can see these big kala. They would have made an excellent dinner, but I just wasn't feeling them. Getting down deep was extremely difficult for me today. I was having to descend incredibly slowly while constantly clearing and equalizing, but it's all worth it when you get down to the bottom and the views look like this. It's such a beautiful day today, but my sinuses are absolutely killing me. I'm still managing to get down a little bit, but it takes so long for me to get down to the bottom that by the time I get there, I just have no air left. No air left. Kind of just figure it out as I go, but it's such a beautiful day here. It's really a tragedy that I can't get down to the bottom. This next dive was one of my deepest drops of the day, and look at these papio that decided to come over and say hi. This school of fish is so beautiful on the way up too. I took another big drop, but nothing good came in, so I just ended up enjoying the view. This was my last dive of the day, but I headed back out a couple days later. So I've been kayaking a bit over 25 minutes now, and I am so excited with where I've ended up. These cliffs are absolutely beautiful. The water's glassy and clear, and what's even better is this whole corner of the island is only accessible by boat. So I have a feeling these grounds are going to be pretty good. So I'm super excited to get this mask on and go down and check it out. I'm stoked. The first thing that I noticed besides the visibility was how quickly it dropped off right here by these cliffs. Where I'm normally diving, you have to swim super far out to get to this depth. But here, it's happening right by the whitewash. When I got down there, it was absolutely beautiful. Tons of life, but I couldn't hang out for too long. On this dive, I saw a new type of coral that I'd never seen before. Look at this lavender coral garden. This is so beautiful, and we don't have anything like this on the side of the island that I'm diving. I spotted some action from the surface, and I started to dive down. Look at these omilu in front of me here. These guys are good shooting size, and I'm getting close to them. Right as I get in, they start to spook here, and they start going right through this crack in the reef, and they just disappear out the other side of it. It was a bummer because I definitely could have used those guys for some sushi rolls. I spent hours here diving, doing tons of different dives, and there were plenty of fish here, but I just wasn't quite good enough for them. Maybe I was wrong about how pressured this area was because these guys would just not get close to me. Check out this guy down there. It had been pretty uneventful with the fishing so far, so it was really awesome to see this guy. We swam for a little bit and it was so beautiful. After a minute, the somilu came over to say hi, but he was so small, I didn't even bother going after him. Look how good the visibility is here. That ray is on the bottom at about 50 feet. I saw this jack swimming towards me, and after missing that shot, I figured it was time to call it a day. As soon as I got into the water on my next dive, this beautiful little turtle drifted over to say hi. On this dive, I was targeting a super specific fish, and I knew I could find it right here in the shallows. I spotted this big kala, and I dove down and started chasing. You can see this fish knows it's being hunted, and it's being super wary. It's swimming away from me, and it looks like it's about to go over this reef shelf, and then it doubles back, and I line up for the shot. I smash him, and he ends up going right underneath this archway and getting the line all tangled up here. You can see him thrashing around there, but at least I got a good holding shot. As I dove down to untangle this kala, I didn't even notice the master of camouflage in front of me until I bumped him with my hand. Look at that fish go. At the time, I don't think I even noticed because I was so focused. This dive was a lot quicker than my other ones, but at least we got some action. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you all in the next one.